This is episode number 94 of the Helping of Happiness podcast. Today we have Jonathan and Meredith Rotz from Financial TMI, Time, Money, and Investments on with us. They are teaching us how to put more love and joy and peace and fun into our marriage finances, how we can figure out who we are and what we want and how to get there and how to be more patient with our spouse. Can't wait for you to listen to this one. Hi, you're listening to Helping of Happiness. I'm your host, Hillary Hess, a crazy mom of 7 kids who loves to eat and loves to travel. Mom life can be exhausting, hectic, and scary at times. So let's take this journey together. We can love, we can learn, we can laugh, we can cry, and we can become better friends while we're at it. Hey, Jonathan and Meredith, I am so pumped to have you on. Just for our audience to remind you guys, we had them on episode number 46 when we were talking with just Jonathan about budgeting tips. And then we had them together on episode 38 when we talked about kids and money. And I'm so pumped that we get to talk about marriage and money today. So let's just give us a quick recap of your family. Say hello. Tell us what you've been up to.
Yeah, so we've been doing, good question. Since we talked last time, I guess, we did some retirement and kids and money presentations that we would do and just do a live presentation for people, and they would come and learn about it. And we did that for a little while and had some good success, but we realized that we want to actually put some videos together. So that's part of the reason why we're talking to you today, because we're coming out with some videos that we're really excited about. And they're about, like you said, money and marriage. And so we're going to talk about the first video with you today.
Awesome. I can't wait. I was telling Meredith and Jonathan this before we started, but me and my husband need to have like the big money revamp sit down either tonight or tomorrow. So this is the perfect timing for me to get all set up and like pumped to be able to have our little money meeting together. So this is perfect. So so go ahead and just tell us, maybe Meredith, can you go and just like give a quick recap of your family and then let's just get into it.
So Jonathan and I have been married for over 20 years now, which seems like a huge number. But we have done a lot in those 20 years, so I guess that's about right. We have 5 kids ranging in age from 17 down to 6. So we're kind of in every stage of parenting all at the same time right now, which has been really fun. But that was another reason we decided to do the videos, because we realized there are tons of people out there like us who are just in that life that's just busy, go, go, go. There's basketball practices and games and things to do every night. And so we decided the videos would be something you could just do whenever you had time to do it, right? And that you have to make time for the important things. So, but we still try to keep them brief. So between our 5 kids and our business, we have some hobbies we love to do together. We love working out. We love watching movies and playing games as a family. And we just really love watching our kids, do their things that they love to do, sports, instruments, whatever it is. So that's kind of our family, 4 girls and 1 boy. And we just have a good time over here.
I'm glad Jonathan's got at least one buddy. That's good.
Yes. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I remember when we had our 3rd daughter, and I looked at him and said, "Are you disappointed? It's not a boy." And he's like, "No, I love girls. Like we do girls. Like we have 3 girls. It's going to be great." But then when we had our 4th and found out it was a boy, he was like, there was some relief that came across his face. I don't think he would admit it then, because we love our daughters and we love doing girl things. But it was kind of nice to know, okay, there'll be one boy to take on camp outs and to do all the daddy son things,
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah. So they do like to hang out and do things together and escape the girls at times.
Get away from that female energy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I like say he created a little mini him because they're very similar in so many ways. When I'm hanging out with Parker, I'm like, you are so much like your dad.
He's got
That's
his little
crazy.
clone.
Yeah, it's cute.
Oh,
So,
so
anyway,
awesome. Okay, well, where
yeah.
do you guys want to start? Start telling me all this. I know we have some really cool things to cover. Got me your outline, and I'm really pumped about it. So I'm going to kind of let you
Yeah,
take the wheel, and I'll kind of bring you back to some questions I might have as we go.
Okay.
sure. So first, we just want to start and tell you about kind of why we wanted to do this in the first place. And so we were kind of thinking of doing some videos last year, and we're trying to figure out what topic do we do. Do we, record, video about retirement, about the kids and money? If you don't know, I'm a financial planner, so I work with people. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, and I've met with hundreds of couples over the years, and I've gotten to see kind of firsthand how couples work together or don't work together and with their money. And I've seen a lot of people argue about money even right in front of me or have disagreements in front of me. And so I've kind of been a witness to a lot of things. And so especially last year, I actually had a few clients that came in, and I could just tell there was some stress, tension between the two of them when it came to money. And so, I always try to share some of our best tips and practices that I've learned and that we've put together. And a lot of that I have to credit my wife for, because she's really good about, coming up with things to do. And so some of the ideas that we talk about are really from her. But it's just things that we've done over the years that just became natural to us. And so we thought, we just need to share this with other people, because apparently not everybody knows how to talk about money with their spouse and how to have a good, relationship when it comes to money. And so we want to share what we've learned over the years with everyone, especially with my clients, but really with everyone.
I love that, because sometimes you do things a certain way for so long, you just think that everybody knows and everybody does that same thing, and you forget that, wait, this is something that I learned. I've just been in such a habit. This is definitely something to share. So I'm so glad that you have found a way to put that across to all of the rest of us, because
Yeah, and
it.
we've done some research that, the main reason that couples, marriages or relationships don't work out, it's financially based. And some of it's just not feeling like they have control.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's a lack of control, or there's just an uneven balance, or there's just not a knowledge of where their money is, or what it should be going toward, or why their spouse is spending in the way they're spending, or where their priorities are, because it can be different. We come from two different families when we get married, and then we try to blend that, right? So hopefully these videos, a set of 3, will give couples an opportunity to really look at their marriage, look at their money habits, and figure out how can we make our marriage better, because our money really does control a lot of our happiness and a lot of our success in life,
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was looking, we've all heard some of those statistics, and I looked them up just to find out, how many couples actually have arguments about money. And I read somewhere that like 70% of all couples have fights or arguments at some point in their marriage about money. And I thought that might be a little bit low. I'm like,
yeah.
The other 30%, they just don't talk about money or what? But yeah. And then, 33% of couples fight about money every single month, which I can believe that. So it can be a big area of stress, and when it's not just about the money, it comes down to your relationship too. It can affect your relationship in big ways. And so if we can help minimize that stress and open up the communication better, I think that'll help not only your marriage, but also your money as well. So It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. And it's a topic you can't avoid, because we all have to pay bills. We all have to pay taxes. Like, money is a part of our lives. Like, you can't just say, just not going to talk about that topic, because
as much as I would love to ignore my budget,
it's
gonna come back to haunt me if I don't.
You can't. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we, when we first got married, we realized that, we came from 2 different families, 2 different backgrounds, and the same thing is true with all marriages. There's no 2 families that are the same. And so you have the things you learn about money predominantly comes from how you were raised and the family that you grew up in. And then when you come together, you both have different thoughts and ideas and opinions and traditions and values, what's important to you about money. And so that is kind of where we start in our videos, talking about that, trying to understand where each other's coming from based on how you were raised. And so it's really important
do you ask each other questions about that, or you just kind of talk about your past? How do you bring that up?
Really, you need to take time. So you have to set some time apart, because this is not something that just naturally comes up in your day-to-day conversation, because we're all busy, right? So you have to do a money meeting or a money date, maybe after the kids go to bed, where you actually set some time aside and say, we are going to talk about money. We're going to talk about our past and try to ask each other questions, like you said, and try to understand each other. And we have some really great questions that are good to start with on our video. So check out our video on our Facebook page. But yeah, it really just starts with asking questions and trying to understand, yourself, but then especially understand your spouse.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you really need to be in the frame of mind that you're ready to listen to one another. Like, you can't do it at 10:30 at night when your energy is just depleted. So making time earlier in the night, even setting aside, like you go to a restaurant for a date and you just sit there and enjoy your food and talk about the topics, or taking a long walk, just having time to do this. And we have 4 questions that we have in our videos that are outlined exactly how your conversation can go. So that way you have some questions to ask, because sometimes it's hard to even come up with the questions, but once you have those in front of you, the thoughts come to you pretty quickly, and you start talking and you realize how much your past has really affected you.
That's funny you said go out to eat, because I've been researching budgeting. That's one of my New Year's goals, is to get really good at our budget again. And so I've been like Dave Ramsey, Fun, Cheaper, Free. Like, I've been, listening and reading a ton about budgeting stuff. And one recommendation that they had was, when you go for your main money meeting, do it somewhere in public, because you're less likely to yell and fight if you're at a restaurant than if you're at home.
Yep.
So I thought, that's actually a really good idea. When you're, somewhere where you feel like you need to keep your cool, that probably helps a little bit.
Well, that, and it's a neutral ground. Like, no matter what we say, our houses are such a personal space that if you go out somewhere to a restaurant, it's a neutral ground for both of you. So you're not looking around thinking what you could be doing. You're not looking around thinking, I need to fix this, or, you're just somewhere that you can't do anything but listen to each other. And that's no distractions. Yeah. So it's good. And we always love to, like, when you have a hard conversation or about something you may not want to talk about, it's always better if you sweeten it with some dessert. So go eat dinner, have dessert, talk about money. Life is just more fun when you're eating dessert, I think.
I think that's such good advice.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier today, Jonathan and I, about the fact that we were trying to think of when our first conflicts in marriage started. When we were early on married, when our conflicts would happen, and usually they happened at the grocery store. And so we were talking about the reason they would happen there would be because he would reach for one food item and I'd reach for another brand of the same thing. And we would get frustrated with each other, because we'd be like, I would be going for maybe the Kroger brand stuff or whatever, thinking I'm saving us money. But he would be like, no, Kraft mac and cheese is the best. You got to just go for the Kraft.
You can't negotiate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember, we would leave the grocery
I'm with you,
store.
Jonathan. Sorry, Meredith.
No, I have come over to that side. I agree now, 100%. I will not buy off-brand mac and cheese. So that was a good one. I totally credit Jonathan for that one. But I just remember thinking, we would leave the grocery store and we both would have been kind of frustrated with something, like, oh, I didn't get what I wanted. But then once we talked about it and realized, or tried the off-brand mac and cheese, we learned real fast it's worth the 50 cents to get that more, to get the better one,
And it could
Anyway.
obviously go the other way too, right? Maybe it's,
Right. Like
something
taco
else.
shells
Mhm.
don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be El Paso
Mhm.
taco shells. You can just get
Right.
Kroger
The
brand. And they're,
off-brand might taste exactly the same or
yes.
even better than the
Mhm.
name
Yeah.
brand. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
in
I
that
didn't
way,
mean to
it's
just put you
saving.
under the bus, Meredith. But
No, it's
yeah,
okay.
no,
I totally agree. Kraft is better.
Yeah. And,
maybe the craft people are
and
listening to this podcast, so
I
they're
know,
happy to
right?
know that.
yeah, there
Sponsored
you go.
by
Let's get you an
Kraft.
endorsement.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go see
Yeah.
them. We're talking
Exactly.
about your macaroni and cheese on our podcast
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. And
Anyway.
and I've learned how to do the same thing. So we've this is the same true with food and with money in general about what's important to us. We've had to really talk about what's important to us and why it's important. That's so important to understand the why. If you're doing it just because that's the way I was raised or that's just the way I've always done it, that's not really a great reason. Maybe you can dig a little deeper and find out why, but why is that, and then kind of figure out, okay, is this really that important to me, or is it just doing it out of habit? And then, then way you can talk about it with each other and figure out what the best thing is for you to do as a couple now that you're married and establish your own family, money habits and your own traditions and whatnot. So that's what's really important about understanding your past, is that you can come together on some things, and you definitely have to be some compromise on both sides, when it comes to what is really important and why you should do those things. But ultimately, make a decision so that you guys can work together as a couple now.
I love that, actually, because I think sometimes we do things just because that's how it's always been done, and we don't even pause to think about why we're doing it. And sometimes it might be a really silly reason why we're doing it, and it was very ineffective or more expensive or whatever it is. And it might not even be something that really matters to you. So why am I frustrating my spouse over something that I don't really even care about? I'm just doing it because I've always done it.
You're right.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah,
So
we've
awesome.
definitely figured that a lot of those out along the way.
Yeah. So the rest of our video is about money personalities. So we were talking earlier how taking personality tests is kind of a fun thing people do. You see them all over Instagram right now. What Disney character are you? Or
the little spinning thing over your head.
Yeah,
too.
over your head. And like everybody's doing it. And the other day I saw one that was about from The Office, the Michael Scott and all that. What office character are you? And my kids were doing one that like, what's your future husband's name? I mean, like there are all these crazy like personality tests out there. So we actually have developed our own from things that we've learned. It's about money personalities and how we think everybody has a primary and a secondary money personality.
Okay, so yeah, we need to get into this. This sounds like a lot of fun.
This is a really fun part. And I actually did this with my friend the other day. We were just out and we're in the middle of the store and I asked her some of these questions and she was like, whoa, really? I'm totally that. And I was like, yep. So hopefully people will enjoy this part. But Jonathan, do you want to explain the primary?
Yeah. So this is kind of obvious. Everybody's probably heard of this before, but when you think about it, it's really a part of who we are, is whether we are a spender or a saver. Those are the two main primary money personalities. And everyone is naturally one or the other. And again, it has to deal with, how you were raised and how you first started spending money and making money. And some of it's built into our DNA, some of it's just from experience over the years, but usually, you are one or the other. And you can be an extreme or you can kind of be somewhere in the middle, but everybody is either a spender or a saver naturally. So that's the primary personality. And we have a way to kind of figure that out. We were kind of just talking about it when we made the video, like, how do you know which one you are? And, sometimes sometimes it's just obvious, that, yeah, I'm a spender or I'm a saver. I know, but usually we like to ask ourselves questions when we're buying something. And so if you're a spender, you have very few questions to ask yourself before you buy something. You might say, like, do I want this item and can I find a way to buy it? And that's it. If you can answer yes to those, then yeah, you probably end up buying that item. But then if you're a spender, if you're a saver, then it's going to be different.
Mm-hmm. So I like to explain the saver part because it's where you ask yourself a lot of questions, and I totally identify with this. So the first question you might ask when you find something at the store: do I like it? Do I need it? Is there going to be a sale later? Is there a coupon for it? Can I make it myself cheaper? I mean, if you're asking yourself all these questions, can I buy it on Amazon at a better rate? Could I wait till my birthday? Can I buy it used? Can I wait till my birthday? Well, Christmas is around the corner. Maybe I'll wait till then. Like, what holiday's coming up that I can use as an excuse to buy this gift? And then by the end of the time, by the end of it, I walk out of the store without buying it because I tend to not. I ask myself so many questions. I talk myself out of it, right? So we used this with my daughter one day. We asked her. We said she was kind of frustrated with her money situation, and I said, okay, well, when you found that thing at the store the other day, she loves makeup. When you found that special makeup, what did you think? And she said, well, I don't know. I said, well, did you ask yourself, do I want it? She said, yeah. I said, did you ask yourself if should I buy it? Do I have money? She said, yeah. I said, did you ask yourself any other questions? Like, is there a coupon or anything? She's like, no, I just bought it. And I said, so you're a spender. Now, the key to doing this is when you figure out what you are, neither of them are bad or good, because you need to be able to spend money in your life just as much as you need to be able to save money in your life. Because if you spend your whole life saving, you're going to miss out on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
If you spend your whole life spending, you're not going to be prepared later on when you really need something. So neither of them are bad. Mm-hmm. We have to understand that there's no, it just is. And if you accept that and realize that, then you can come up with a plan to allow yourself to indulge in your spending habits or your saving habits, but still communicating with your spouse at the same time without getting frustrated with them because they're the opposite of you, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Or when you're both spenders and you're like, the money's all gone. Or you're both savers and you have to fight about the few things that you are spending on. Those can be hard too.
It can be.
Well, that's what's interesting, actually. I've heard about this from other places, but I've also seen it with my clients too. When people get married, especially if they're the same when they first get married, like Meredith and I, we were both savers when we first got married. But over time, I've changed to be more of a spender. I'm also very cheap, so I'm not a big spender. But we balance each other out in our marriage. I've seen that so many times with my clients, where they tend to balance each other out. And if you're both extremes, that can cause a little bit more difficulties. But either way, you balance each other out. So sometimes I will call Meredith and I'll talk to her about something I want to buy. Not necessarily I have to get her permission to buy something, but just that I know she can help me rationalize and think through it, but before I actually end up buying something. And she can help me think through it clearly, because I'm just like, let's buy this. We got to buy this right now. What are we waiting for, She's like, well, let's stop for a second and think about it. And then I'll do the same thing for her. She'll be like, hey, I really need this thing. Can you get it for me for Christmas in a few months? I'm like, no, you need it now. Just go get it. Like, I give her her permission to be like, it's okay. If you need it, just go get it,
And sometimes us savers, because I think I fall in more in the saver category a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but sometimes just having that little extra permission doesn't make me feel quite so guilty about buying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, for sure.
And I think it's all about finding.
Couples balance each other out.
Yeah, I was going to say it's all about a balance and respecting one another and knowing that my saving habits could actually benefit him and his spending habits can benefit me without feeling like either of us are out of control or either of us are subservient to the other. Like I have to ask him before I buy it or vice versa. It's more of a respect. We understand each other's strengths when it comes to money. And so we use those to our benefit.
Yes. And our weaknesses too. So when we're aware of our own weaknesses, then we can, try to help each other use their strengths, like you said. So understanding your strengths and weaknesses about money and spending is huge. That's like, if you can do that, you're ahead of most people in this world, because most people don't, understand that or don't think about it, but it's true.
Okay, so I really liked what you had to say about how you're checking in with each other and you're not like saying, oh, I have to ask for permission or I have to, it's not like a parent-child relationship. It's really about you honoring that, putting the marriage before the money, I like how you guys talked about that. That was really awesome.
Exactly. I love
Absolutely.
how you just said that. We definitely try to put our marriage first,
Mhm.
because ultimately what's going to be around longer? Our marriage. Our money will come and go. We can earn it, we can spend it. But you're right. It's all about our relationship. So
Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
Okay, so
Mhm.
let's tell me about some of these secondary personalities. So we've got our main one, our spender and our
Mhm.
saver.
Mhm.
And then tell me what
Yeah.
comes next.
So there's 5 major secondary money personalities, and they are you're either a planner, a worrier, an avoider, a giver, or a believer. And it's possible to have a little bit of more than one of these, but you've got one main secondary money personality that each of us has. So usually we just say, ask your spouse about which money personality you are, but we can kind of give you some ideas of how you might know which one you are. So being a financial planner, I'm definitely a planner. That's my secondary personality. So I like to look at the numbers and do the budgeting and make sure all the bills are paid and check the accounts and those kind of things. And
I wish I was a planner in that way.
Exactly.
I plan in lots of other ways. I hate doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So people are usually more careful with their money, that kind of thing. So that's what a planner typically would be.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'll describe the worrier. Those are the kind of people that are just watching the stock market a lot, watching the world and see what's happening, might get pessimistic about money, might just literally worry about money often, check their balances late daily, wants to keep that emergency fund intact, and might easily get frustrated when there's an unexpected expense. So that's kind of what a worrier is.
Yeah. And then an avoider might be someone who doesn't want to focus on the future, is only focused on the present. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to worry about it. They just want to, go to work, pay their bills, and not really, worry about what's happening in the world or what's happening 30 years from now or when a retirement's going to happen or whatever. Basically, they just don't want to get too involved with their finances and not worried about it.
It'll take care of itself.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the fourth personality is a giver. And that's pretty self-explanatory. They like to give money to others, to organizations. They're generous, but they might forget to pay themselves first. So that's one thing they need to watch out for, is to make sure they're still taking care of themselves and their financial responsibilities. But usually that's just someone that's very generous with their money.
Yeah, you have to kind of balance the two of giving, but also taking care of yourself, for sure. And the last one is a believer. And a believer is probably a little bit too optimistic about their own future and about the world. And so they just think, everything will work out. I'm just going to, I'm going to do this, put this money away for retirement, and, it'll be enough when I get there. And they just, believe that everything will work out in the end. And sometimes it will, and sometimes it wasn't. But it needs to be, kind of a balance there too of, okay, you got to do a little bit of planning in there. You can't just throw money, aside and hope it's enough or hope it's going to work out, That's the believer.
Yep. So those are the 5 secondary ones, and it's good. And the reason that you want to identify what your secondary language is because usually that's however you react to money will be affected by your thoughts about money. So if you are an avoider, you might just ignore things, or you might just not want to have conversations about things. And understanding
have that money meeting.
Yeah, and understanding that,
Yep.
wait, that's just a part of who I am and my money personality right now. But recognizing that then you can take it and be like, that's why I'm avoiding this, because I don't really want to deal with it, but I need to, right? So unfortunately, that's part of being an adult. We have to do things we don't always want to do, right? We have to be mature, but recognizing our weakness or our strength will help our spouse also understand, oh, they don't want to talk about it right now. That's why they got like upset with me. But if I approach them when they're in a good mood and say, when can we do this? Maybe I set a time, you can work with each other then, and you can still have conversations that you have to have, but maybe on their terms, or a believer might just be so optimistic, and then their spouse might balance that out as a pessimistic person. And, you've got to just find your strengths and weaknesses so you can work with each other better.
Like a believer and a planner would be like a match made in heaven, right? Because you could have like this optimistic person, and the planner's like, okay, let me figure out how to make this happen for you.
It kind of does seem like that. But like the thing is, I know that worrier and avoider kind of seem like a negative term. It's really just identifying a part of who you are. So it's not a bad thing. It's just recognizing that you need to maybe have the conversations at a different time, or you need to schedule it, or you need to be able to relax before you have to talk about it, or maybe your spouse needs to kind of reassure you that, okay, I know you're worried about this, but we can take care of this. We can make it through. We can do this. Let's just, try to talk about it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think that maybe that causes a little less fights when you're doing your money talk, is when you can identify those personalities. Because if you're a saver and a worrier, you might be a little bit wound up tight if you have a spender and a believer, right? I mean, it just...
Right.
Yeah.
And it might cause you to have fights that then you think there's a problem between you and your spouse, when really there's not. It's just a personality that you're not understanding. And if you can understand it, then you can work with it. And then you can realize, oh, he doesn't want to talk about money at 10 o'clock at night. He'd rather do it on a Saturday morning when he's like refreshed and had a good night's sleep and got to sleep in a little bit. And so maybe we need to have our meetings at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning instead of 10 p.m. on Wednesday night, kind of altering how, and maybe the saver wants to have the meeting on Sunday to prepare for the week. But maybe the planner wants to have it on, Friday when work is over, and now they can focus on their future, I don't know. It's just working with that.
I love that. Well, and I think sometimes if you aren't on the giver, that could be a little frustrating too. Why are you giving away all our money? But if you understand that really is just a part of their heart, like I have a family member like that is such a giver. Like her spouse just has to like rein it in. Okay, this is what you can give away, and then this is what which is so good for both of them. It's so good for her spouse to see how important that giving is, but yet let's kind of put all this in perspective. We can't just not have a place to live and food to eat and all those other things. So I love that. I think that's really great to be able to think about all those things.
That's so good.
So that's the basics of the first video. There's a few more things. You have to go watch the video to see things that we didn't talk about from the first video. But then we've got 2 more videos coming up as well that you'll just have to go watch on our Facebook page.
Yes, that's going to be so cool. Oh, go ahead, Meredith.
Yeah, and we've kept the videos short. So they're no more than 8 to 10 minutes each. So you could watch all 3 videos within 30 minutes easily. We didn't want to take too much time. We know everybody is busy, has lives. So we tried to keep it pretty succinct and short so that you could really listen to all 3 in a short period of time. So
that's awesome.
They're not too long, we promise.
So you can gear up before your money meeting. Okay, tonight we're going to watch these videos and figure out who we are and what we like. And then tomorrow we're going to sit down and do it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do tonight. We're going to talk about who we are. And then tomorrow we'll get into the nitty gritty. So we have time to there you go. Warm up to each other for a day or something.
Yes, exactly.
I would encourage you to watch one at a time, actually, because we give challenges at the end of each one. And so it might work best to watch that 1 8 to 10 minute video, have a conversation, and then when you're ready for the second one the next week, do that one, or the next night. If you're really geared up and really excited, you might want to watch them 3 nights in a row. I mean, could just there's all kinds of fun that can be had by watching our videos and conversations about money. Like, you can get really excited about our second video is such a fun one that we put together, all about goals and dreams,
Yeah.
and dreaming with your spouse and coming up with a plan and coming up with ideas of things you want to accomplish. Like, we have some really fun
So
times
that's
in our
my
video.
favorite part
So,
about money. I just want
yeah.
to dream
Yeah.
and goals
Yeah.
forever.
And when you watch the 3 videos, you realize how important it is to dream with your spouse and to see a future together with your spouse. Because the money is just, it can come. Anybody can make money. There's plenty of money out there for you to accomplish all that you need to do and on whatever level that you want to do it at. But if you don't know what each other's dreams are, you don't really have a real future together. Like, you've got to be able to dream together and say, oh, this is what he is on his bucket list. This is on my bucket list. How can we do it both? Or how can I make my bucket list item his bucket list item as well? You know, where do we overlap? And it's really fun when you can just have fun with your spouse and not worry about the money. Don't worry about where it's coming from. So anyway, that's the second video. I'm probably giving away too much already.
No, I think that's good. I think we like hearing the topics a little bit to get excited about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do anyway.
And we not only talk about
hopefully
that.
Everybody else does too.
Yeah.
Yes. We actually tell you how to do it, like how to make your bucket list and your dreams come true. So how to plan it out and make it happen. So that's the next part 2. And then the last video, part 3, is talking about your money habits, mostly as a couple, but all the successful money habits that successful couples use to be able to use their money wisely and to be able to have the money they need to do all the things that you want to do in your life. It really takes habits. I was reading a book recently, and it said, your goals may be really high, but if you don't have the habits and the processes in place to support your goals, you're going to fall. You're not going to accomplish your goals. So you got to have some good habits in there. And so we talk about the most important money habits that you need as a couple to make your dreams come true.
Oh, I love that so much. That can apply to anything, right? You can have a goal to lose 50 pounds, but if your habit is to be eating a pound of chocolate every day, that's going to be a little tough to get to, right?
Exactly.
Well, and as our own daughter pointed out, she's like, Mom, everything always comes back to a money lesson. And I said, well, the thing is, your dad and I that's what we teach. That's what he does all day with couples. That's what he pretty much is, a money counselor to all these couples. And I said, and we're doing these videos and we're looking into writing a book, and like, we are thinking money wise, but the lessons and habits for your money also apply to your relationships, also apply to your spirituality, also apply to like everything. You can apply these, our little formulas we have, to all the aspects of your life, your workouts, everything. Like, it's all connected to your relationship with your kids. It's just all connected. So
it's like this really tangible parable, right?
Yeah,
you can adapt
as
it to so
tired
many
as my
things.
daughter gets of hearing about, how does this apply to money? I'm like, it applies to everything. It's just a money lesson that can be applied to life. So anyway, we hope that these videos will help you in your marriage and with your money, and that these videos will give you more money, because everything is just going to be working smoother once you start putting all these processes into place. So
let's tell everybody where they can find these money videos. Where can they watch these?
Yeah, so just go to our Facebook page, which is Financial TMI, and we have everything on there. We post things at least weekly, and you can also find our newsletter on there. So if you want to sign up for our email newsletter, you go on there and you can sign up for that. But yeah, that's where we're going to post the videos, is on our Facebook page. That's the best place to go.
And just to clarify, these videos are completely free, right? It's not like
yes,
you're not even asking for anything. This is just out there for your benefit, to just help you in your marriage and your family and your future. And I think that's one of the very coolest things about what you guys are doing, is that you're just out there to really just make the world a better place. And I just love that about you guys so much.
Oh, thanks, Hillary.
Absolutely.
We're just trying
Appreciate
to put value and good out into the world and share our knowledge, because there's why keep it to ourselves if we know what works and what has worked for us, and hopefully somebody will take something of it and learn something from it. So they're absolutely free. We don't ask anything for them. anybody, feel free to share them, join our Facebook page, get all the information we have on Facebook is always free. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And then of course,
And
if they
in the
want
future, we're going to
more
be doing
stuff, they can always come to you privately, right, Jonathan? You're happy to consult with them if they need even more,
yes,
right?
exactly. So I forgot to mention at the beginning, but I feel like I'm becoming more and more of a marriage counselor than a financial planner because I deal a lot with couples and their issues, and usually it's related to money because that's what they're coming to me about. But so yeah, if people want to talk more about their money in their marriage and they have more questions or concerns that maybe they can't work out together, I'd be happy to talk to them either one-on-one or do a conference call or a Zoom meeting. And even if you don't have marriage money problems at all, if you just want to have a free consultation where we talk about what's important to you about money and kind of what your plans are, and you need help planning for some retirement or not sure what to do with your old 401k or whatever, be happy to talk with you. And anyone who has and again, that's free too, so totally free consultation. I don't charge anything for an initial meeting. But anybody who does have an initial meeting with me, I'll give them free access to this website called eMoney, which we actually talk about in more detail on our third video. But this website is something that we offer to our clients for free, but you can get a free trial by having a consultation with me. And the website allows you to view all of your accounts in one place. It has some budgeting software, and it's just a really great website where you can store documents. It's just an overall great financial website for people to use. And we use it for our budgeting and to keep track of all of our money, and it's worked out great.
Awesome. So awesome.
It is really the coolest website. So seriously, you got your listeners need to take us up on this offer and contact Jonathan and get the free access, because it gives everything. It like puts your bank accounts, your savings accounts, your car loans, your house loan, your investments, everything all in one page. So when you have that monthly money meeting with your spouse, it's all there. And so you just click into it. It has a budgeting software that's super duper easy to use. And it just, every line, it says like, you'll have like a food budget, utility budget, a medical expense budget, whatever budgets you want, you can put in there. And then the line is green until you get close to using it all up that month, and it turns yellow, and then it turns red if you go over. It's super easy.
That's awesome.
So when we look at it, we just like go in and say green, 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 green. Oh, yellow. Okay, where should we? Okay, let's get a little bit tighter there this month. And oh, red. Okay, went over. Okay, well, we'll just adjust that, because you can adjust the numbers off to the side. Like, so if you want your food budget to be $500, you can adjust it to 500. And then one month you might say, oh, food was a little more, so we're going to go 550 or less. It's just super easy to me. I am not a financial planner. I'm not a spreadsheet girl. Like Jonathan is all about the spreadsheets, all about the money and the numbers. And I can even do this, and I can totally get it and adjust our budget myself. So it's a great website. And this is a really awesome offer he's given to all of your podcast listeners. So I hope they take him up on it.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Okay, yeah. Are you ready for our three helpful and happy questions? Okay, so we tie this in to kind of go with the website. So since our Helping of Happiness website covers getting things happier in our families with food, with travel, and homemaking hacks, and also, of course, is the house for our podcast archives. I'm going to ask you guys questions. So maybe these can tie into your little money meeting, right? So our first question is, what is your favorite food or meal? So what would you want to be eating when you're having these serious talks about your money with your spouse, right?
Yeah. I think Jonathan and I would probably both agree on this, but I'm going to let him answer it first.
Oh, no. I don't know if I'll get this one right.
He gets like the newlywed game.
I think one of my favorite meals is crock pot ribs. That's really good, and it's really easy to do. That's with potatoes and vegetables on the side. It's good stuff.
Was that the right answer, Meredith?
Oh, I thought he was going to go for dessert and what we love to eat when we're talking about money. So if he
what's the dessert? What's the dessert you would pick?
I would say one of our favorite go-to desserts is brownies and Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah.
And then a hot fudge sundae or hot fudge on top. That's like one of our favorite desserts. So We
Yeah, I
often
can get on
have
board with
Bluebell.
that. Totally get on board with that.
We usually have Bluebell ice cream when we have our money conversations.
So next money conversation, you'll have to hop on my website and get one of my Pizookie recipes and have that with your bluebells on top. Oh,
there you go. Love that.
Hot
that
gooey
sounds
cookie
awesome.
with ice cream, you just can't beat
Right.
it. Oh,
Right.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, I'm on board. We can totally do that for our money meeting. Sounds so
okay.
good. Okay, so what is the best trip you've ever gone on, or maybe even a future dream vacation that you guys are working at with your money goals?
Your turn.
Okay. I have to say the best trip I've ever gone on was to Hawaii last year.
Which we talked about you guys planning that on one of our other podcasts, and I think that's so cool. Your money goals added up into that.
Yeah, it's like all of our planning just like all came together for that one. It was an awesome trip. It was like we spent 10 days on 2 different islands, just he and I in Hawaii, and that was really, really fun. And it was just the best. We had the best weather. On my birthday, I was sitting on the beach at a resort, like eating hula pie and going to like an amazing restaurant. It was just a fabulous trip. So
love it.
That was good.
I would agree with that. Definitely the best vacation ever. So
do you guys have a new one that you're saving up for now, or other dreams?
Well, we are going to Mexico in May.
Yay!
We've never been, and we're really excited about that.
Yay! So. What part are you guys going to?
We're going to Cabo.
Yes, Cabo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're super excited about that, and that'll be fun.
Awesome.
And then, of course, we have visions for our family vacations for the next couple of years. So we're starting to work on all those too, and starting our savings funds for each of those. And that's another thing we talk about.
I always think of myself as a saver until it comes to travel, and then it's like all off the table, and I'm ready to blow everything. I love going fun places.
It's so fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. That brings out the spender in me for sure.
That's the best.
Okay, and let's do our last one. Do you have a hack for us? Homemaking or money? Or I mean, homemaking hack. I call homemaking hack. It can really be any family hack or life hack.
Okay, I thought about this one before we got on here, and I have to say my one hack that we use every week is actually for each of our kids. We bought them like a sweater organizer for their closet that has 5 spots. And on Sunday night, we pick out their clothes for school for the whole week. So that every morning when they wake up, they just go right there, and they know that the top one is Monday all the way down to Friday. And they just grab the clothes, put it on, come downstairs and eat breakfast. And I think that's my favorite thing, because otherwise they were always not sure what to wear in the morning. What's the temperature going to be like? They would kind of, just waste time in their pajamas. They come downstairs in their pajamas, and we're like, go back up and get dressed. That's my favorite hack.
And it's like, it's itchy. I can't find the right sock.
Yeah.
Oh, it helps you get your laundry going, right? We call them fashion dates. I do that with my daughter, but we don't have the sweater organizers. I need to get a little hanging organizer.
Yes,
that sounds
just
like
go
a really good financial investment.
It's like $5 at Walmart or Target.
Oh my gosh, I totally need to do that, because she loves doing that. She always asks me, we got to have our fashion date, and it helps us, at least for her. We're like at least not wearing leopard print and like parts, it's
absolutely,
we can kind of streamline, and that way if something's dirty, I have time to go wash it if she can't find whatever it is. Oh, I love that.
I would have to say it's probably my husband's favorite too, because then he doesn't have to try to match clothes at 6:45 in the morning.
Oh, when you're all grouchy and rushed. Yeah.
And he's like trying to find the shorts that match the shirt. And does this pink go with this pink? Or do these polka dots go with this polka?
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He just like says, "Go get the clothes you already picked out."
Yeah.
The kids
I always get it wrong otherwise.
Yeah.
So do you guys do that yourselves too, or just do you make your kids just do it?
We just do it for our kids.
Like, I should do that for myself. I have a hard enough time figuring out what to wear every day.
Yeah, I know. I think it was there was a podcast I listened to, and it said anything that you can do to routine your life and streamline your life will actually allow your mind to be freer for other things. So you're not having to make the decision of what am I going to wear every day. And that's like taking that one decision out of your day actually helps a lot, because you don't realize how many decisions you make during your day. So I kind of feel like that with clothes, again, we can apply it to money, like streamline your money. Like anyway, all these lessons are good for all the aspects.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, that's really helped our mornings go better with our kids. And if the morning goes well with the kids, then we're in a better mood and our mornings go better. So it really is a domino effect, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So.
that's so awesome. That's a great idea.
Anyway, yeah.
All right. Well, Walmart's going to be getting a visit from me, or maybe Amazon.
Or Amazon, yeah.
If I'm too lazy to go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love Amazon. You gotta love Amazon.
It's the best.
Yeah.
What did we do without it?
I know.
Prime is like the way I live my life. Oh,
I
so
know.
great. Oh, anything else on your heart you wanted to share before we wrap up here? You guys, this has just been so awesome. I always love every time you guys come on. It's like you give out such concrete stuff that we can apply to our lives, and I just love that so much.
Good. Well, thanks for having us. We're really glad to be able to share that with the listeners, and we'll definitely be back on to do something else next time.
Hey, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Whenever you have anything ready, I'm here waiting for you.
I'm going to have some more videos, I'm sure, later this year, so that'll be good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so
definitely.
much. Oh, and let's see. So those are all up and on the site, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, on our Facebook page.
Go to
all right. We'll link up to all that in the show notes.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks guys.
Hillary.
If you enjoyed this podcast or you think somebody that you know would really enjoy it, make sure that you go and share this with a friend. And if you're listening through Apple Podcasts, please go rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Your ratings really help us be able to move up the ladder in Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. Your reviews just warm my heart so much. I really, really appreciate having some feedback so I know how you're feeling about how we're doing over here. So I hope you have a really great week.